The Toyota Innova first came out in 2005, and ever since then, the car has become a common sight across the Philippines. This was thanks to a combination of modern looks, along with the rugged body-on-frame platform that it shared with the Hilux and Fortuner. Now in 2024, the new Toyota Zenix, or rather just the Zenix, has moved towards a completely new front-wheel drive platform. The question now is the new Zenix a direct Innova successor? Dahil sa kanyang front-wheel drive platform at hybrid drivetrain, pag-usapan muna natin ang kanyang driving experience. So we're currently here on our way to Subic ngayon with the Toyota Zenix Hybrid, and as you've requested in the comment section sa social media natin, what we're here to find out, of course, is how will the hybrid system perform with a full load of people. And dito, you're gonna see naman their names sa baba ng clip.
So nakadito ka.
May YouTube din. Dito, so yun nga, we're on our way to Subic with 6 people on board this Toyota Zenix Hybrid. And well, I think compared to the diesel, mas malakas bumana talaga yung diesel na Innova dati compared to this hybrid model. Ayun nga, so as you can hear, the engine sort of, kailangan mo siya i-rev. Di naman sa hirap siya maghatak ng 6 people, mind you. It's really just the nature of the hybrid system to basically hold its revs kapag humahatak ka, or rather kapag umu-overtake ka. Because you also have to remember na it's also working in tandem with the electric motors. Pero so far, it's pretty good in terms of fuel economy. So kanina, we were doing 16 kilometers per liter, but yun nga, we've been overtaking more cars. It has brought down the fuel economy to 14.6 km per liter. Still pretty good, but yeah, medyo lumit yung advantage ng hybrid compared to the diesel. It's also worth noting to talk about the car's driving dynamics. So, as mentioned, this is not anymore a body-on-frame Innova, but it's now a unibody construction using the TNGA-C platform that you would normally see as well in the Corolla Cross and Corolla Altis. And in terms of comfort, yun yung talagang biggest improvement niya. What do you guys think of the ride comfort of the new Zenix?
Definitely smoother. You know, having to drive an Innova every day, that used to be the
body on frame.
So yeah.
So being a hybrid, the engine cuts off or turns off basically whenever you're coasting or you're just only doing light throttle applications, which further contributes to the Zenix's very serene riding experience. Because syempre, when the engine's turned off, it pretty much drives like an EV at that point. Though the wind noise is well kept to a minimum then compared to the previous Innova. Now, as for the comfort, mas naman yung legroom at the second row. Kasi you guys have been really keen to find out what's the third row like. So we're gonna be going to the third row in a bit. But second row, the best seats in the house.
That's my part. If I were to compare it to food, it'll be pork sinigang, you know?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pork sinigang.
Ganun mag-review, bro.
Totoo nga, naka-squat na kami kanina dyan sa likod. So,
ha?
Kanina lang.
Naka-squat?
Ano bang tawag niya? Indian seas.
Musta naman yung third row, guys? Yung nasa pinakalikod.
Diyan yung pork sinigang. Sabi naman is curry with bagoong.
Sige, question. Can you actually do fit 3 people sa third row? Or
I think so.
Si Jet.
Ayun si Jet. Edit na lang.
as long as the ones occupying the third row are, I guess, appropriate size, kaya naman magtatlo yung third row niya. Which again is showing the inherent advantage of having a front-wheel drive architecture compared to the previous Innova's rear-wheel drive platform na yun nga, in the ladder frame chassis is sort of eating into the vertical room nung kanyang interior. Then, also worth talking about as well with the new Toyota Zenix is of course the Toyota Safety Sense suite of advanced driver assistance tech. So you have of course the usual adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, lane centering then as usual with the Toyota system, the lane tracing assist. Then you also have blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, and a nifty 360-degree camera system which is useful syempre when you're in the city, you're maneuvering through tight spaces. So now that we're here in Subic mismo, it's a good time for us na ngayon to find out how the Zenix Hybrid will perform in terms of fuel economy, because as usual with hybrids nga, mas gamit sa city electric motors compared to when they're on the highway, which has resulted in our fuel economy to increase na ngayon to 16 kilometers per liter, which is really good for a car that's carrying 6 people on board ngayon. And since we're using the electric motors much more at these speeds, basically the car feels more refined, more quiet. So it's a really relaxing car to drive, especially in the city. And I think this is where the Zenix Hybrid is at its best. Combined with the light steering and of course the front-wheel drive architecture nga nito, the TNGA-C platform, ang sobrang car-like na ng pakiramdam niya. And that's paying dividends nga as mentioned kanina in terms of space. So ngayon yung roads aren't exactly the best. Medyo rough yung concrete natin ngayon. But how does the ride feel like pagdating dyan sa second or third row? Because here up front, maganda yung ride.
Hindi masyadong shaky. As in, smooth.
Which is one of the advantages talaga of now shifting to a front-wheel drive architecture. Yun nga lang, I think the biggest drawback nga lang of switching to this platform is, at least for the previous buyer demographic of the Innova, this is a bit more delicate as a result. Di naman sa hindi to durable of course, but having the assurance of the durability of the toughness ng body on frame platform nga ng dating Innova, you have that ability to care less about what types of road you're going through. Pero yun nga, this car feels more basically sedan-like, kind of like a Honda Odyssey. If you remember that premium MPV ng Honda, it kind of feels like a Honda Odyssey at this point. And yun nga, because of that comfort-oriented nature, don't expect the Zenix nga lang to be a sporty car. So ngayon, we're going through a bit of corners and yun nga, not a sporty car, but for its intents and purposes as a family car, or ngayon, and with the Zenix Hybrid, which has become a sort of executive cruiser na rin, it's doing the job really well in that aspect. So yun nga, the Zenix Hybrid is a completely different car from the Toyota Innova before. So I think it's a good thing for Toyota Motor Philippines to market this as the Zenix, no, nang medyo hiwalay sa Innova, because it's really a different car from the previous Innova. Is it a worthy successor? I think it's more of a sidestep for the nameplate, because yun nga, ibang-iba talaga yung target demographic na ngayon ng Innova Zenix. So after having the Zenix Hybrid for about a week, nagbago ba ang tingin namin sa kanyang itsura? In terms of the design, I do think that the car still looks good after seeing this car for numerous times across Toyota events. What you have up front is of course nga those full LED headlights. Then being the hybrid, you have the silver trims on the front bumper along with the LED daytime running lights. Then as you're gonna move down the sides, you're gonna see the 18-inch wheels unique to this variant, along with of course the hybrid badge to indicate that this car is the hybrid. Then, as you're gonna see down the sides lalo, it's kind of like the Toyota Highlander in the US market. And then when you move towards the back, kamukha naman yung Toyota RAV4 dahil sa itsura ng kanyang tailgate. So in general, the Toyota Zenix looks modern, though not exactly what you would call a head-turner. And if you wanna see how the gas version looks like, you can click on the top right-hand corner of the screen right now. So now that the Zenix has been with me for about a week now, how are my thoughts holding up sa kanyang interior? Maybe not the most modern aesthetically, but at least material-wise, it's pretty good for the price tag. And in terms of the material quality, I actually like the soft touch materials here in the doors and the dash. And yun nga lang with that, moving to the lower parts of the car, medyo cheap na yung materials here in the inside. But at least on the functionality aspect, ang sobrang ganda ng kanyang mga storage places here on the top of the dash, on the passenger side I mean, and there's a lot of cubby holes. Yun nga lang, what I have observed now that this car's been with me for almost a week now is the driving position. So my minor annoyance would be the alignment of the things, because as you're gonna see ngayon, the steering was actually a bit offset along with the instruments to the right ng onte. So depending on how you're seated, yun nga, like, you can adjust a bit to the right, but if you're gonna naturally sit in, nung para kasi like you're just gonna climb in the car and sit here, the steering wheel's gonna be skewed to the right ng onte. It's not as bad as the Peugeot Traveler that I drove before, but it's an observation that's worth mentioning, I think. So do test drive the Zenix first for a long drive so that you can find out your observations regarding the driving position. But apart from that, the interior is well designed. And then all of that leather, whether synthetic or the genuine stuff, is best cared for with the Sonax Leather Care Milk. So this product is basically gonna help you in preserving the leather's matte finish so that over time, it won't start to look shiny, and basically, it's gonna preserve the brand new look of your leather surfaces. Then let's now talk about the tech part. So what you have here is a 7-inch digital instrument cluster along with a 10.1-inch na infotainment system, which is really big. Not the flashiest, but it gets the job done. My main issue nga lang here is with the 360-degree camera system because the camera systems are kind of grainy, yung kanyang quality. Then you also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then apart from those features here in the hybrid, you also get leather upholstery and also ambient lighting in the ceiling. Wala kang alam panoramic sunroof as what I have been seeing sa comment section, but just write in the comments down below if you want the Zenix in the future to have a panoramic sunroof because, well, I think naman that Toyota Motor Philippines is reading your comments. So moving on here to the back of the Toyota Zenix Hybrid, as you're gonna see, there's tons of room. As you've seen naman in our past videos, ang sobrang luwag nung legroom niya. Headroom's really good, lalo. And yun nga lang, at least for the hybrid, since the batteries of the hybrid Innova, or rather Zenix, are placed in the front, you cannot put your feet under the front seat. So that somehow limits your comfort, I guess, in that aspect. But the main highlight of the Zenix Hybrid is the power adjustable rear captain's chairs with footrest. Yun nga lang, yung lawak ng iyong second row will be dependent pretty much on the fact if there's a third row occupant or not. But wala tayong third row occupant ngayon, so that's a good time for us ngayon to lounge here in the back. Now, this is a good time for us to talk about the features because you have here yung the ambient lighting, your own climate zone, and then you have your armrest here. You even have a sort of flip-up table here and 2 USB fast charging ports. So yeah, that's pretty much it here at the back of the Toyota Zenix. And I'm pretty sure ngayon what you're most curious to find out ngayon is what's the third row like for basically an adult like me na 5'11" ang height. So we finally moved here to the third row of the Toyota Zenix, and because of that front-wheel drive architecture, this is the most spacious third row that the Innova's ever had in its lifetime. So, by having that unibody construction, wala ka na ngayon ng ladder frame chassis basically from the Toyota Hilux and Fortuner, which eats into the vertical room of the Innova. And now, there's more vertical room on all 3 rows, and that's a result of that. Here in the third row, it's a space that's actually pretty good even for a 5'11" adult like me. Yun nga lang, this seat has been adjusted to my lounge position kanina. So if I move it a bit naman, dude, look at that. There's literally a space that's good enough for me on a long drive, sa totoo lang. So the main question ngayon is, Toyota says that this third row can actually sit 3 people. So there's the middle passenger. Try natin umupo sa gitna. I don't think it's gonna be the best if you're gonna sit 3 people here in the third row because, well, agawan na kayo sa shoulder room. At that point, choose wisely which people will be sitting in the third row if you want 3 occupants. Make it a space for just 2 adults, and you know what? It's a very wide second row, or rather third row. And I think it's a good time na ngayon for us to talk about the trunk space because, again, being a front-wheel drive unibody MPV na nga, Toyota's unlocked a ton of room with the Innova and rather the Zenix. But more importantly, yung kanang seats na ngayon, yung kanang third row, is actually folding down under the floor as opposed to yung nakasabit lang sa sides, therefore giving you a lot of space. And yun nga, as mentioned kanina, the batteries are under the front seats, kaya there's no effect in terms of trunk space whether you're getting the gas version or the hybrid Innova, or again, the other Zenix, alibis ko nang nasabing word na Innova.
And that's basically the thing with the Toyota Zenix Hybrid. If you used to have a Toyota Previa or a Honda Odyssey, the new Zenix is a great alternative. Otherwise, those who live in badly paved roads will still prefer the body-on-frame Innova, which will still be sold in the coming years. This is because we don't think that the new Toyota Zenix is a direct Innova successor. Instead, we perceive the new Zenix to be a new sub-lineage of the Innova family.